Patrick, it is lovely to see you here at Africa Rail. Since you became CEO, have I actually seen you?
You have, but we haven't had a chance to actually talk yet.
Okay.
And I think this is a good opportunity for us.
It's a fabulous opportunity. Because rail, right now, on the African continent, to me is seriously exciting, filled with opportunities, although there are some challenges. So I'd be interested to know your view of what those challenges are.
Yeah, so maybe let's start with Gauteng, where we recently implemented the signaling project, which we handed over last year around March to the customer. The biggest challenge for me right now that I see is the theft and vandalism challenge that we have in our country. Sadly, we started that project around the 2012-2013 period of time, and we handed it over after a long period of time last year, and then we see that the customer released a tender to reinstate the entire network. That goes to show that sadly for us, we don't have the rail network we need in this country to be able to help the commuters. Last year, PRASA released a tender where we did reinstate the Pretoria Saulsville corridor, which was for 3.5 stations, so that's a good start. I mean,
you guys did that on schedule.
And we did it on schedule, we did it on time, and within budget. And importantly, it helps PRASA with their recovery project, which needs to happen. But over and above that is, we've now started to implement better theft and vandalism measures, anti-vandal proof devices, better silos on the ground. So what I have noticed, and which was very impressive for me, in the 1 year that we took for the project, we did not have any cases of theft and vandalism on site.
Oh, well, that's good.
So that's extremely good.
Yes.
That is still running, and I'm very happy to say it's running very well. Yeah. And it was mentioned by PRASA as well that this was one of the corridors that is now operational again. The other big challenge is, because the rest of the network is not fully signaled, we do have a problem where there are long headways between trains, and we're not yet delivering to the capacity we need to for the commuters in all these areas.
Which means we're not meeting the needs of the commuters, and that's going to definitely impact the number of passengers that they get back to using their service.
That's correct. The numbers yesterday were that we have 41 million people that use the PRASA network in the last year.
Yeah.
Up from 22 million, which is very good. And the big saving was, if you're using a train, you're looking at 20 Rand for a journey versus 120 Rand.
Yeah.
And the second thing was, it was 1 liter of fuel, less than 1 liter of fuel on a train journey.
So it does show that affordability. I mean, like when I was in Cape Town recently, that ability to get on the train, get off at the train, go do something that's touristy, and then get into the city centre. I mean, it's a joy.
We also must understand that the people in these locations don't have access to as much funds as everyone else does, right? And we trying to save their money, which is money which they need in their pocket for their families.
Yes. But I also think that there's like an opportunity to grow that network. I mean, I often reference what I see overseas in terms of the metro is there, the high speed is there, like for example, Turkey.
Yeah.
That's multimodal, multi-trams. We would really benefit from that kind of solution here in South Africa.
Yeah. And South Africa, for us, one of the other big area is, our network is being used by both cargo for freight on the Transnet side of things and PRASA for a passenger side of things. So we need to be cognizant of that. It's not really a metro system which we're running, but a more mainline system. And that technology which we're providing all over the world is, being implemented, being working. And, we spend a lot of money on R&D in Siemens.
Yes.
We invest to try and make sure we have the right technology for the right markets. And similarly, we need to understand that in South Africa, we may be a few steps behind.
Yeah.
But we do need to look at the standardization that's happening across the globe, especially stuff like ETCS. Yeah, it's called European Train Control System, but it's not only in Europe, and it's being used all over the world. And they are currently looking at rebranding it. But importantly, for us as a market here in South Africa, and especially in the rail sector, we shouldn't be picking proprietary technology. We should be looking at how we standardize, something similar to how I mentioned ETCS, to be able to provide safe and reliable solutions for the communities. The most important thing we want to do is get the guys to their jobs and home to their families on time. if we're running with long headways, etc., we're not doing that. We're not providing the service that we need to.
Let's just talk about some of the other changes that are happening in the South African context, and that being open access, third-party or private rail operators now coming onto the network. Transnet right now has done the network statement. There's a lot of feedback being given or called for comments. IREC, the regulatory authority, economic, it just goes on. Where do you position yourself as Siemens?
Yeah, I think important for us to understand is before Transnet actually embarks and tries to implement all of the rules, etc., they have on the network statement, we really need to consider that the infrastructure needs to be improved.
Yes.
We will not be able to deliver, or as a country, as a concession, etc., we cannot deliver if we don't understand what's happening on our network. And sadly, over the last couple of months, we've seen a few derailments on the network. Important to implement is condition monitoring assessment equipment, where we can be proactive. Siemens has the equipment together with our MRX portfolio that we can implement to understand what's going on, like broken rail detection, wheel profile measuring systems, etc., which helps the customer, helps Transnet to understand what is going on the infrastructure and be able to protect us from these derailments happening. Yeah. The derailments that we have cost us as a country, as an economy, a lot of money, because we need to move these commodities to the ports. So I think Siemens globally and here in South Africa is very well placed to be able to help the customer, Transnet in this example, to implement these measures and put the technology in place that will allow them to be able to expand on their network statement going forward.
We've spoken about South Africa, we've spoken about freight and passenger. What are your thoughts on Africa?
Yeah. I spent a couple of years abroad in Germany working, and I recently returned here to South Africa. And, we have the African continent under us, where I'm also responsible for business as Siemens Mobility in Africa. And one of the main reasons why I came back is I believe the time is right. The time is right for infrastructure, for investments into the African continent, where a lot can be done. We move a lot of materials, cargo, freight, through the roads. The roads are getting damaged, it's costly. We can never move the volumes that we need to. We've implemented a very, very good project, which we've spoken about time and again in Egypt and what we're doing in Egypt. But the rest of the continent can also have something similar. We as Siemens are able to deliver these kinds of projects together with assisting to get funding, finance, to be able to implement from a rolling stock perspective, from an infrastructure perspective, and the right technology to be able to actually work cross-border between different countries, and the standard, the technology point of view, where we can understand where your trains are.
Yes.
Because a lot of time we don't even know where the wagons are and we are lost. So those are the things we kind of need to cover in that regard. Africa does need money. And I think that is a key component of what we can help with. So bring the money and be able to deliver it. And we can help you. We're prepared to talk, we're prepared to look at alternate business models, and whatever we need to do to be able to help you and our customers to be able to deliver on their KPIs that they need to do over a period of time. There are lots of projects going on. We've touched on the EU Global Gateway over the last couple of days, and it's been a big push where we've had people speak about what's going on, how the money comes from the EU, etc. But Siemens Mobility has done it, we are doing it, and we're capable to help the rest of Africa be able to do it again.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Patrick.